Hello everyone, welcome to another Magic the Gathering Arena video. As you all know by now, I enjoy playing 4 or 5 color decks, and also try to brew lists that include dragons. But believe it or not, I have never really got around to playing the Niv-Mizzet 5 color deck. So here we are, finally I get to try it out, but wanted to do some changes to the more common list. Usually the lists I saw run 4 copies of Fable of the Mirror Breaker, which is not searchable by Niv-Mizzet Reborn's ability. So I wanted to try out Lila, Undefeated Slickshot, which is 2 colors, and in the long game, it will allow us to recast our instant and sorcery spells that we cast from our hand while it is in play. Seems like amazing value if it manages to stay alive in the mid to late game, and we have some instant or sorcery spells in our hand to cast. Of course it's a creature, and 3 toughness is not great against most removal in Pioneer, but I think it is worth a shot. The other card I wanted to try is Inevitable Defeat, which for 4 mana allows us to exile any non-land permanent, while also draining 3 life points. Exiling any non-land permanent without any restriction while also gaining us life against aggro, for example, seems interesting to me. On top of that, they cannot be countered, so might also be pretty good against the counter spells of Phoenix or Dimir decks, apart from exiling Azorius controls planeswalkers. Apart from that, the rest of the list is pretty standard, I would say. Maybe for the exception of the full playset of Ancient Cornucopia, but I think this card fits very well in this deck with its mana fixing and life gain abilities, and maybe also compensates a bit for missing out on the treasure tokens generated from Fable of the Mirror Breaker. Even though those are not guaranteed, when it comes to a sideboard, I just copied what I found online in the latest Pioneer challenges, and it seems good enough. We will see. Let's play some games now, shall we? Alright, this hand seems good enough. Okay. Eitherborn. Looks like we are up against mono black midrange. Pillage the Bob. Let's plot it since we have enough mana. Then maybe next turn we can find another land and be able to dig deeper. Well, might as well take Cornucopia. Might not be able to cast Omnath this turn, but the life gain should make up for it in the long run. Mono black typically find it hard to remove artifacts, so that's a plus with Cornucopia in this matchup, I would say. Ooh, we draw another one. That's enough Cornucopia for now. I would say let's go with Omnath, draw a card and gain some life as we are already down to 12 here. Another Niv is really not ideal here. A land would have been great. Ouch, down to 6. This is not looking good for us. Ooh, an NX as well. Yeah, they got us good here. That miss land last turn was painful. Oh well, let's go to game 2. Let's cut one Niv. We need to be able to clear the board and go for the long game. Not sure about Lila in this one, not ideal against removal. Let's hit a couple of fatal push. Need to cut 4 here. Maybe one of the 5 mana board wipes. Deadly cover up a bit clunky. Yeah, maybe the vetoes are not the best here either. And 1 Clarion as it does not hit shoulder or their demon token. Let's go like this. Yeah, seems fine, of course not the best against turn 1 and 2 of hand disruption, but going down to 6 of 5 cards would be even more risky. Now we can cast Bring to Light next turn, unless they have 2 hand disruption cards. Alright, let's go for it. I think Niv-Mizzet Reborn is the safest bet here, as both Invoker's Spare and Archenemy's Charm can remove Planeswalkers. Oh well, that was not the best hand refill, but Lightning Helix will do. Can help us get rid of Oni and gain some life back. Ooh, a second Annex. That is not good. So I think I want to get rid of at least one of their Annex here, and get rid of Oni. Especially because they do not have a Mute Evolve, at least for now. So let's make sure we leave 1 white mana up for binding one of their Annex, as I also want to cast Bring to Light here and get Tibalt in play. Makes us be more mana efficient and hopefully we can get 2 good cards to play. Unfortunately, Annex is an enchantment, not an artifact, but that's okay. This will do just fine. Yeah, third is the Archenemy's Charm, the latest addition from the Edge of Eternity set for mono black lists. Seems pretty good to me. Let's finally get rid of the Oni. Still no Mute Vault at least. Let's see if they unlock the demon token. And indeed they do. That is what we kept Fatal Push for. Nice. So we're 1 mana short from casting Yorion. Let's cycle and see what we draw. Something to remove Annex would be great. Ah, Lila, and we can test it, so why not? Cornucopia has done some work here. We're up to 15 life again. Pretty awesome. Ah, they finally found the Mute Vault. Graveyard Trespasser. Ooh, okay, that will give them another turn to live. Ah, perfect draw. We have lethal now thanks to Kolaghan's command. So, I will cut Lila here, too much removal, and add another Fatal Push and a Dovin's Veto. That should give us some more protection and keep their creatures at bay. Ooh, no black or red mana, but we have Fabled Passage. Okay, let's give it a try. I rather play the Triome here, as my priority is to get rid of Annex and an item further draws next turn. Four cards in hand each. This will be interesting. Next turn I can cast both the Beanstalk and the Helix. Animating Mutavault again? Ooh, their hand must be full removal, I guess. Wow, another Annex. They always have it, don't they? Okay, so let's keep Lightning Helix and Fatal Push up here, and in case we don't need any of those, we can cycle the Triome land. Two Wither points, huh? That gives us things to do. I think I want to keep Fatal Push up in case they animate their Mutavault, at least for now. So at least Cornucopia lets us keep Fatal Push up, while also putting Yorion in hand. Pretty neat. Could have also waited for next turn to cast it without giving opponent a chance of discarding it. But if they had hand disruption, it would have played it earlier, and if they top deck it now, they are still running low on life, and I get to keep Fatal Push up for their Mutavault. That's also good for them, that they had to pay 5 mana, and their token can be targeted by Vanishing Verse at least, which we did not see any of yet, as opposed to Lightning Helix. Ooh, I could have cast Cornucopia there before casting Yorion. Nest that went up and ended my second phase too fast. Missed a couple of life points this way. Oh well, we are still doing okay here, I think. Let's use Leyline Binding on the demon token. That way, even if they have enchantment removal, they still cannot get it back. Coming to think about it, I missed like 6 life gain here with that mistake of not playing the second Cornucopia. It could definitely make a difference. At least we drew a Niv now, so that's like 10 more life points there. Let's cast the Vanishing Verse during their turn to gain an additional 4 life points. I definitely want to get rid of their Inix, but let's see what they play. Yeah, Invoke Despair is fine. And they give up. I don't blame them, to be honest. We dismantled mono black there with all the card advantage. A bit of a slow hand, but it will do. Athros, Titanic, God Core, interesting. Maybe some artifact deck? Alright, we don't have a mountain or a forest yet. Might as well have played the Triome there. Hex Catcher. I guess this is Simic Merfolk then. That will make for a nice target for our Kolaghan's command. Let's start with Cornucopia here. Even if it's Spell Pierce, we have Nahiri and Leyline binding to deal with the Pilgrimage. I guess they will counter now. Ooh, okay, that also worked. What are they holding then? Since they are tapped out, I will take the opportunity to cast the Bring to Light here. I don't think usually Simic has a lot of ways to remove creatures, so I will go with Niv-Mizzet Reborn. That's a pretty nice set of cards to be putting in our hands. Let's go with Lila here and start casting some multicolored spells. Let's see if our experiment will finally get us some reward. Let's Helix now, so that they cannot tap it later in response with Kumina. And just like that, we have another Helix to cast for free next turn. Okay, so luckily for us they tapped their Kumina, which means that we can now exile it with Nahiri.
The earth trembles in anticipation of my vengeance.
Let's force the Sentinel as well, and have another platted card to cast later on. Wow, Lila really put the nail in the coffin there for the opponent. We'll cut one Niv-Mizzet Reborn and the box here, to make space for the fatal push copies. For the rest, I think we are fine. Let's go. Okay, down to 6. And we are missing white and green mana. We'll give it a try. Don't want to go down to 5. Let's pitch Niv as it's the most expensive card. Oh great, we drew the green source. And white as well actually. Ooh, 3 cornucopias, but I think that is pretty good anyways. They can ramp and help us survive for the long game, which Merfolk will probably struggle unless they go crazy with Deep Root Pilgrimage. And there's the first one, but luckily we can ley line mine it. Let's do that now since they're tapped out. We'll pay 2 life to get started with the cornucopias here. Start ramping up and getting some life back. Wow, another Deep Root Pilgrimage. I really called it out earlier, didn't I? Ah nice, Vanishing Verse will do in getting rid of the pilgrimage. Let's cast another cornucopia then, as it comes in untapped and ready to tap for mana. They might have something like Spell Curse here, so for now I am going with just the Helix. Could have waited to see if they tap out next turn, but this way we make sure we are mana efficient, save ourselves some damage, and get rid of a creature that when tapped can generate a token for them. Okay, so once again they left 1 mana up, but this time we have extra mana to pay for the counter. And here goes the 3rd cornucopia. Let's go for it. Casually gaming 6th life. That's nice. Yep, that worked. Yeah, good game. I think they were too far behind and we were gaining so much life with every spell we cast that we were kind of out of reach for them. This hand is just fine, I guess. Nice to see Cornucopia again. Up until now it worked well for us. Oh well, that is an explosive start from our Gruul opponent right there. Let's get rid of the ooze right now then. I would say Cornucopia will help us in this matchup with the life gain, so let's go with that before we cast more removal. Down to 11 we go, but luckily we have some good removal options here. I will wait to cast Inevitable Defeat, in case it plays something with more power or casts some pump effect. Okay, let's exile the targeted emissary. Now that they use up their pump spell. Gain 6 life as well in the process. Pretty neat. We could try finding an untapped land with Pillage the Bog to be able to cast Helix as well this turn, but I think I prefer to just be mana efficient and cast Nahiri here.
Oppose me and be reduced to rubble. My will is stone and steel.
With Pillage the Bog, we could have probably found a land and be able to cast Bring to Light next turn, so yeah, would have also worked fine that way, but I guess by casting Nahiri we are taking less damage, which is important.
This isn't over.
Oh well, it is a tapped land, but it will do fine for now. We are at a healthy 14 life. Let's keep Helix up and see what opponent plays next turn. Nothing? So maybe they're just holding removal. I will go for Niv-Mizzet Supreme here, as I would think all their interaction spells would be monocolored, and this way I can try to cast Bring to Light again next turn, or any removal spell I need. Ah, so that's what they were holding, Collected Company. Oh, that's pretty good for them, even though it might not be good enough without some kind of pump spell. Yeah, Niv-Mizzet Supreme would have allowed us to cast our second Bring to Light there. Too much value against the opponent's board. I will trim 2 copies of Niv-Mizzet Reborn here, a bit too slow against aggro. Need to cut 2 more cards to make space for the Fatal Push playset. I guess Pillage the Bog can go in this matchup, prefer to have more instant removal instead. Maybe get Sunfall as well as mass removal, and take out 1 copy of Leyline Binding, since they have enchantment removal. Let's do that and give it a try. Slow hand, but at least it's removal and potential life gain from Omnath's landfall ability. Let's give it a go. A deadly cover-up. It's another slow card, unfortunately. Oh wow, another land. That's not ideal at all. We might be just dead next turn. Not much we can do about it though. At least if we manage to survive, we can wipe the board. Let's see. Our Klothys will do it for them here. Unlucky, we kept this low hand and were punished. Six lands in starting hand. Wow, no thanks. Ooh, this is even worse. We'll need a mountain or a forest to make this hand any good, but really do not want to go down to 4 cards. Let's give it a try. Great, there's our mountain. This way we can cast Beanstalk. Phew, that is a relief. Ooh, white mana is also nice. It enables white main helix for us. We'll just go with Binding here to be mana efficient and save us 3 damage next turn. Then we can later cast Cornucopia and Helix in the same turn and gain 2 life at least. While with Binding it's always 1 life anyways. And the Beanstalk draw to give us more options is nice as well. Ah, my bad. I clicked too fast. Thought they will pump once more. Wanted to exile the ooze with inevitable defeat there. Should have waited until they attacked next turn, actually. But probably they would have pumped the one with the lowest power anyways. Well, well. This is a nice top deck, finally. We'll go with Niv-Mizzet Supreme once again here, as we have plenty of mana to cast the spells we need, and we are going to draw 2 more cards to pay for the jump spurt of the spells in our graveyard.
Make no mistake, I'm not.
Yeah, good game. We both had some nice top decks during the match, but our top decks brought more value in the end. That's a pretty good hand to start with. We have something to play on turn 2 and 3 and possibly 4 as well if we just draw a blue source. Well, I could have got the blue source here, but I want to try and play Lila at some point, just to try the new card in this list. So I would think this is Dimir Aggro once again. I think it will be an aggressive deck where we need to survive the early game. While they take the Lila, so I would think they're not holding removal then. The life gain from Omnath is pretty nice here. Opponent's list looks a bit strange. Seems they are not running spirits, so I would think our Vanishing Verses would go through here. And the Drowner, so I guess it's just a Dimir Aggro list with the Wanderers instead of the Ferried or Cecil. Yeah, right. I don't mind that. Actually, that's good for us since we've been drawing lands. And here goes even more lands, but at least we gain some life back.
The housewarming party has arrived.
Ooh, that was a pretty good turn for them. We really need to top deck something good here.
My eyes are as sharp as my sword.
Alright, Beanstalk is a good start. Helix is pretty useful. Kaito is the biggest threat at the moment, so let's hit that.
Must keep fighting.
On ice once again we can play Cornucopia. This card has been great against aggro opponents. Ooh, let's make that 2 Cornucopias. Pretty nice draws. Even though we need to survive first, opponent has a pretty stacked board.
Just try to keep up.
Another Helix is great here. We can cast both Cornucopias and then cast Helix, gain 7 life, and get rid of their Kaito. Awesome, as we have 1 mana to spare to pay for the Wanderer's tax here, unless they want to sacrifice their pumped-up Wanderer as well. And they do. Fine by me, and we still gain 4 life. And we still get to kill their Kaito.
Don't worry, I've got an exit strategy.
Now with 2 Cornucopias, I'm not too worried of attacking. We can gain more life with Klothys as well. Let's hope for no hand disruption. Wow. Niv-Mizzet Reborn, you say? That's an absolutely perfect draw. We gain 10 life, get to put cards in hand, and draw more with Beanstalk. What's not to like about that? An opponent scoops it up. Well, I would too if I was them. So I think, unfortunately, Lila will struggle in this matchup against removal. And as we did previously against that Gruul opponent, I want to take out Pillage the Bog and get the full play set of Fatal Push instead. I think that will do it. One land, let's mulligan. This can work, I guess, but we are missing white and black mana, unfortunately. But against black, I don't want to go down to 5. Yeah, this is surely not an ideal start for us. We are missing that white mana, but at least we are still a healthy life total. We're getting punished for keeping that suspicious hand here, ain't we? Everything we have in hand requires white or black mana, which is the only mana colors we do not have. And another card that requires black mana. So let's send it to the bottom. Luckily for us, opponent did not do much yet in this game. Otherwise, we would surely be already dead. Ah, finally, there's our white mana. So is Cornucopia here to save us once again? What a card in this deck. It fixes our mana and helps us survive the early game. So let's cast the sorcery speed spell first in case they have a counter spell. I mean, they seem to have something, but maybe a flesh creature. Let's keep the Lightning Helix for their turn to gain an extra 2 life.
Don't worry, Pom-Pom-chan. I've got this.
Akaido is a good one for them here. Can't be targeted by Vanishing Burst. Leyline Binding will take care of Tycho then. Good draw.
I'm really not used to losing.
Let's do this now, as they do not seem to have any counter spells in hand at the moment. For 1 extra life point, it's not worth risking 3 damage from a creature that will stay in play. Whoa, another Kaisho.
Bet you didn't expect to see me here.
But at least we are up to 17 life. But both Kaito and Mihabal cannot be targeted by Vanishing Burst, unfortunately.
Just try to keep up. I thrive in the dark.
Down to 2 we go. We need something special here. Unfortunately, a land is not what we need. Too bad. This is a pretty nice hand. We got all the mana we need. Oh well, opponent gives up. It's a completely different game if we have a decent hand and they do not have fuzzies on the first turn, isn't it? Anyways, good game. Here we are for the wrap up. This deck was a blast to play. I don't know, maybe I was super lucky, but I am still undefeated with this list after 6 games played. We did encounter a variety of decks, but not Phoenix or Control actually. Maybe Mono Red Aggro would be hard as well. And this was possible, mostly thanks to Cornucopia. I think this card was the star of this video. It was excellent in keeping us alive against the aggro opponents, and in fixing our mana as well. I am happy to have included the full playset. Inevitable Defeat was also really good in some cases, even though it can be a bit expensive and unfortunately it cannot be found by Niv-Mizzet Reborn. But I would say it has proven to be a solid choice so far. When it comes to Lila, unfortunately we did not really see it in action that much, even though some opponents value it enough to discard it from our hand in a couple of instances. I want to test it a bit more, but I feel that with all this removal in Pioneer, it might do better as a sideboard card. The sideboard proved to be solid, and I have nothing to complain about. So I guess that is it from my side for this list today. I hope that you enjoyed the gameplay and see you in the next one. Goodbye.